On today's episode, we're taking a tour of this medium roof 148 base camp build out. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Matt here for AVC and welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be taking a tour of our latest build out. This is a base camp model on a Ford Transit 148 medium roof. Let's take a look. I like to start our tours from the outside of the van, so let's talk about the van first. This is a 148 medium roof Ford Transit, has the EcoBoost engine, so V6 turbocharged engine, nice and quick. It is the all-wheel drive model, so it's going to be great for all weather conditions, all times of year. And then up here on the front, it does have the xenon headlights in the Blackout appearance. This is a really clean look. I think these Blackout headlights are really nice looking. It has the fog lights too. So it's a pretty good setup just right off the factory floor. It's probably my favorite configuration. Also has Avalanche gray paint. It's my favorite paint color. It's nice and light, but it's not a pure white van. So it has some nice contrast with some of the blacks and things like that in all the accessories that we put on. And that leads us to our accessories. So up on the roof, we have our Ford Transit roof rack. This is our medium roof rack. Has 200 watts of solar up there, has a max air fan, and a Velvet AC unit up there. So the nice thing about that is all of that stuff is super sleek, super hidden. Our solar panels are mounted on our slim drop brackets, so you can't even see the panels from this side, but we got 200 watts solar keeping our battery topped off and happy. Back here, we did do our Blackout rail. So we just replaced that Ford factory rail with a powder-coated black version. Keeps the van nice and like two-tone. This is the only silver piece on the van, so I think this is a really nice upgrade when you're here in-house. We did a awning-style pill window here at the back. So this is actually a premier awning-style window. We like these because they're the same fit as a C.R. Lawrence 1033 slider, and we ordered these from Flare Space. So good on you, Flare Space, for bringing this window to market for us. It's an awning-style window, which means it just opens up like this. It looks really clean because it's one slab of glass. And another nice thing about that is it's going to be able to vent in the rain. So if you're in a wet climate, an awning style window like this is a good selection for you. Up here, we still have our stock wheel and tire package. And you might think, why would you talk about stock wheels and tires, Matt? But there's something to be said about running what you got. And I think driving these tires off is a good decision. You paid a lot of money for the van. You might as well drive the tires. You're going to get 30,000 miles out of these tires. And they do really well. So they do really well in all conditions. I have some customers that actually buy some of these takeoffs from us. You know, customers will upgrade to a fancier tire, something like that. Unnecessary, does look cool. I'm guilty of that myself. I like a cool looking tire on the van, but it's smart to get these on there, drive them off, and then put some kind of upgraded tire. Now wheels, you know, we're always on the hunt for some cool wheels, and I think one of our recent videos, we looked at some wheels from Rika, and I thought those are actually pretty cool. But the stock Steelies, I think, are actually pretty nice, and I powder coated mine, but I think in an upcoming video, we're gonna be taking a look at how you can paint these to get a little bit of a custom look without spending a lot of money. And I think that's gonna be a good one. So if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay tuned. We're gonna do a painting wheels video. On the driver's side, we do have a window from AM Auto. This is our 50/50 slider. So large venting area. We have a 50/50 slider here. So just half of that is gonna open. You can lock this sash. The screen opens so you can get in and out of there. You can hand things to people if you need to. I had this in a bunch of my vans, and it's nice because I can like talk to my kids through here as I'm pumping gas. I can like tease my little 4-year-old. And I think this is a good window if you have passengers next to you here. If you don't have passengers here, I might look at something more like a C.R. Lawrence awning style T-vent window, but those have really gone up in price. So we like this one. If you're in a really wet climate, maybe look at that awning window. Otherwise, I think this is a good vented option. So that's it for the outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build out. All right, come on in and let's take a look. So before we get into the layout and some of the features of this van, let's first talk about some of the finishes, because I know you want to hear about the colors. So starting here down at the floor is our 2Tech2 in Planet. This is that woven carpet style flooring. Super nice. I think it's a little bit more premium than some of the Lawn Seal floorings that we do offer. If you're looking for that wood look, Lawn Seal is going to be a good choice for you. So 2Tech2 Planet on the floor. Our walls over here are going to be burn silver gray. This is available on our website. If you want to order some of this for yourself, building your van, silver gray is the fabric choice. And then our ceiling is a bamboo. So this is a plyboo ceiling. Plyboo is just bamboo plywood. It's real plywood. It's not a veneer, anything like that. So it's 100% bamboo layering. You can actually see here on the edge grain on some of the trim pieces, you know, it's like 3 layers of bamboo laid up together. So that's our walls, floor, ceiling. The powder coat on your cabinets here is going to be GR230. This is an in-house color that we use here, and it really closely matches the Avalanche gray of the Ford Transit. But if you're looking for an RAL color, because that's a little bit more universal, RAL 7035 is light gray, and that's a very close match to these cabinets. I mean, it's pretty much identical. And so if you're looking to order some cabinets from our cabinet program, RAL 7035 is going to be this nice light gray tone. The countertops on top here are sea glass, and this is a Formica Everform solid surface countertop. It does have some cool little translucent sea glass pieces in here, and I can see them catching the light. It's probably hard to see on camera. It's got a cool like colored speck to it, and I think when you see it in a larger format like these countertops, it's really pretty. Nice and light, but it's going to look really clean. There's some dark specks, some colored specks. It's a pretty fun countertop. The last color we have here in the van is Andrews Garnet, and that's a nice red color, and that's our mattresses and beds in the back. That's a XANN05 Andrews Garnet, and that is in the Andrews line from Keyston Brothers. So that's something we can do mail order as well. I don't recommend these for doing wall upholstery, anything like that. But if you're looking for something special to like sew a pillow, sew a cover, something like that, the Andrews line is one of my favorites. It's nice and durable, but it's also kind of soft to the hand. And I think it's a well-balanced fabric for interiors like this. So that is enough about colors and all that kind of stuff. Let's get into the layout. So let's start up here at the front of the van. So up here in the front of the van, we have 2 factory swivel seats from Ford. So these are Ford factory swivels. No need for an aftermarket swivel base, anything like that. If you have the option to order these in your van, this is my favorite seat in the vehicle. I like the swivels, but they are not available with the heated seat option. If you want to get a heated seat option, you're gonna have to go for the 10-way leathers. Then you can add heat and all that kind of stuff to them, but you're gonna have to put your own swivel seat on those. We have no overhead shelf or anything like that in the front here, which in a medium roof, I think is actually pretty nice. Keeps everything light, and then adding that extra shelf that we like to put in for storage is almost useless in a medium roof. And so if you're in the medium roof thing, maybe consider it. I think I'd still want a place to put my sunglasses and stuff, but you know, it seems pretty nice up here. I don't think you're really missing it necessarily. Up front, of course, we have the 13-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, all that kind of good stuff from Ford. We have the auxiliary Upfitter switches down here. We're not using these for anything in this build out. So in my opinion, these auxiliary Upfitter switches are for things you're going to use while you're driving, things like exterior lighting, light bars, maybe like a air pump if you're doing like ARBs and things like that. You can have that selected up here, but not a lot needed for the build out in the back. Next to me here is the flip-up seat or fold-up seat from JMG Systems. So JMG makes this great fold-up seat here. This is an additional 2-person seat that can fold down. Okay, and I really like this 2-person seat because it folds up and out of the way. It's certified and tested. It's made here in America. He can do these in custom colors, things like that, which is really cool. It is a little bit extra charge, a little bit extra time, but this is the standard colorway. And then they're just nice and comfortable seats. I think these are really good. 3-point harnesses, ISOFIX in the base. So if you need to put some kid seats in here, they're gonna be perfectly safe. This mounting position is a little bit further forward than we would normally do. And we did this by request of this customer because they're just putting grandkids in here and they're not gonna use this a ton for passengers, but they wanted a way to have passenger seatbelts for other people to sit in here when they need to, but they don't wanna have to lift a seat in and out between like sessions, and they don't want to have a permanent seating solution that's in here. So this is a perfect marriage of all of those things. You don't have to lift anything out of the way, but this seat is here, it's tested, it's safe for your passengers, and we can fold this thing up and get it out of the way, and we really open up the build out here in the back. So if you're not familiar with our base camp build out, the base camp is kind of set up like a dinette in the back, and that's the main feature of the base camp build out. So it's meant to be able to post up here and hang out inside, have lots of room to be comfortable in here, and it has a split kitchen. So you've probably seen the split kitchen in my personal van, and I am a big fan of the split kitchen because I think it gives you a lot of options in one spot, but it doesn't take up a huge wall of the van, so it just opens things up a little bit. So over here, the part of the split kitchen is our sink cabinet. So here we have a nice deep stainless steel sink covered up by a nice little inset cutting board here. We do have a pull-out faucet with a sprayer. We do have hot and cold running water. And underneath here, you can see we have our aluminum Molle panel inside, so we can organize inside the door here. So you can get all of our like toiletries, pantry items, toothbrushes, all that kind of stuff. You can put them on Molle bags on these. We also have our IsoTemp 4.2 gallon hot water tank inside the sink cabinet. So really cool thing to be able to fit this in here because it's kind of some dead space in here if you're not utilizing this as well as you want to. But man, super nice to have this tall, slim hot water heater right here tucked up under the sink. Means we're gonna get almost instant hot water right out of our tap, and we're gonna be able to run hot water off the back of the van. We also have a potty underneath here. So simple potty underneath. This is my preferred potty. It's a little bit bigger than the one I like to use, but the taller Dometic potty is a little bit more comfortable because it's taller. So I think if you're an adult, it's really great. If you got little kids like I do, the short one is really nice too. We got hot and cold plumbing, things like that underneath there, but that's about it. There is a undermount gray water tank here. We have a 16 gallon undermount gray water tank on the passenger side, and that's from Northwest Components. Really big fan of that undermount tank. Frees up a lot of space inside the vehicle for you. And, no need to have that gray water inside the van. The other half of our split kitchenette is our fridge cabinet. So over here, our fridge cabinet has an outlet up above on the wall, so we can plug in something like a blender, coffee maker, whatever you need. We have an induction inset in the countertop, so we always have a single burner induction ready to go for us. Below that, we have a nice big drawer for silverware organization, whatever you need inside here. I use mine for silverware, and it fits one of those silverware organizers really well. Then underneath that, we have the Indel B 130 liter fridge. So this is a 12 volt fridge, 130 liters, 4.2 cubic feet. Nice small freezer compartment, which I think is good because I don't do a lot of frozen stuff on the road. Lots of adjustable shelves, all that kind of thing. Can fit beers and sodas and drinks in the fridge. Fits a half gallon of milk down below. I know that's a question people are always curious about. How much can you fit in the door? You can fit a half gallon of milk in there or a big thing, a half and half. It's really nice to get it up vertical and stored safely. I'm a big fan of door style refrigerators in vans because I think it's a lot easier to organize your life in a door style fridge. These slide out trays are basically just a big bucket. I'm not a big fan of a bucket full of food and all that kind of stuff in here. So I think this is, although it's not the most efficient thing, and you'll hear people talk about, oh, this is the most efficient or whatever, it's true. Like a electric cooler is going to be more efficient than this because it's going to hold that cold air inside. But just quality of life, this is 100% the way to go. Above the fridge on the driver's side is our medium roof overhead cabinet set. So in our high roof vans, you'll notice that we have a tall cabinet up front and a short cabinet in the back. In a medium roof, if we did the same thing, that short cabinet in the back would be pretty useless. So we stick with one height all the way across. You can see we plane out with this window, and that's the goal of this, is like get it as close to the window cutout as we can, but still maximize the interior space here. So our aluminum cabinets, this is a new door style for us, and this is the one we're going forward with. I know in some of our other videos we talked about, we're working on the door, we're gonna change the door up. This is the solution we've landed on. So a small kick out here at the very top that gives us stiffness at the top of the door. We have a nice full bend at the bottom, and that encapsulates the leading edge of this cabinet. So we have a nice full bend, it keeps it nice and clean looking on the face, and gives us a nice sturdy, stout door with no need for any extras, anything like that. Okay. Inside here, we got good storage, 12 inches deep, 9 inches tall. These are, I think, 30 inches wide. So, and then each of these overhead cabinets is the exact same size all the way down. We do have a USB powered plug inside here. So if you need to charge up devices, things like that inside your overhead cabinet, you can plug them in, tuck them away in the back here, and you're good to go. Of course, these things bolt into the infrastructure of the van. So 8mm bolts, or 3/16 bolts into the back, 3/16 bolts into the ceiling, and this thing is stout in here. In between overhead number 1 and overhead number 2 here, we have our control panel. So this is gonna be our input system for the entire van. So this has got our EcoFlow touchscreen up here at the top. That's where we monitor our system health, our inputs, our outputs, how much solar we're making, everything like that. We're pretty much topped off today. We got variable sun, so we don't have much as far as solar coming in, but we're at 98%, and it's just been kind of chilling full blast here all day. Our outputs, we can of course turn on our AC circuits. We can turn on our induction cooktop if we need to. We got our 12 volt circuits. All these can be labeled, which is really cool too. So you know exactly what everything is, and you can turn these things off just at the touch of a button. You can see I turn my lights off here. I can kill power to those circuits just like that. Of course, this has a companion app on your phone, so you can control all those things from your phone. If you're in bed at night, you want to turn a circuit off, you can do that. If you're driving, you want to make sure you're charging from the alternator as you go, you can do that too. It's pretty cool to be able to monitor those things. Below the EcoFlow input, we have our Espar furnace. So the Espar furnace is how we control our heater, and that is mounted up here underneath our passenger seat. So up here underneath the passenger seat, we have our Espar furnace. This is the 2 kilowatt unit up here. So a little bit smaller unit means it's gonna work harder in the van, and I think work a little bit better for you. It's the AS3, so it's good to 17,000 feet. All elevations you're gonna hit in North America, I think you're gonna be covered with this thing. Drinks from the Espar, or from the fuel tap in the Ford tank. Remember, you can't use the factory tap on the Ford tank. You gotta put an aftermarket tap in there. So that's something that you might wanna have a professional do, because you do have to open up that fuel tank. Hopefully we'll have a video coming up for you on that one too. We do have our AVC Espar trim, and that just cleans this thing up, gives us a nice spot to put our register here. You can twist out our logo and put a USB or a 12 volt plug there if you're a paddleboard person like I am. Gives you a nice 12 volt power plug there, which is pretty cool. But otherwise, you can rock our AVC Lean Tree logo, and it's a nice clean kick plate up here at the front. Below our Espar controller, we have our cabin lights. So we have our lights divided into 2 zones. We have a rear zone and front zone, and those are both on dimmers. So we can hit these, turn them off. We can do a long press, and we can set to whatever power level we want. So if I hold this, you can see this light is getting brighter. And then it'll remember where it is. So if I turn this off and I turn it back on, it's gonna come back to that nice bright light. Or if we set it nice and dim, we get up at night, we turn those lights on to a dim mode. It's not gonna wake everybody up. It's gonna be nice and chill. We of course have a task light here underneath our cabinet and on top of our cooking surface here. This is nice if you're just doing something simple. You just want quick light right here, finding shoes in the van, make a sandwich, doing whatever you need to do. It's just simple light and it's not gonna light up everything in here. That's it at our control panel. Let's take a look at the back here. And man, you can see I'm bumping my head a little bit in here. You're probably curious how tall these are. It's 5'8.5" in a medium roof, fully finished with our interior kit. So just keep that in mind when selecting your van. Here in the back of the van, we have our dinette. So the core feature of our base camp build out is the dinette, and this is the real star here. So you have a dedicated table and seating place here in the back of the van. And normally in a high roof van, we would put this combination together with our electric bed lift. You can push the bed up out of the way. You can hang out in dinette. You don't have to transition between bed and dinette. In this one, we talked with the customer, and in the medium roof, because it's just the two of them most of the time, I think it's better to have a fixed bed that sits on top of the bed rails here in the back. So they can make up the bed down below and turn this into a bed, take the back cushions, fold them flat onto the table, and make a nice sleeping surface in here. And we're gonna do that here in a minute. But the other thing you can do is just have these individual panels stored in the back. You can have all of your bedding and everything like that stored. You can still hang out in here with 2-4 people, and you're gonna be nice and comfortable. And then you don't have to like lift all this stuff out of the vehicle. So you can leave some of these things inside here if you want and have a nice transition between bed and dinette and things like that. In a high roof, I do think it fits a little bit better, to be honest. So I think the high roof version of a base camp is kind of the best version of the base camp. You're gonna have a lot of compromises for a medium roof trying to fit a base camp and 4 people in a medium roof van. Unless you're doing a rooftop tent, I think I would go high roof with a full base camp build out. So just something to keep in mind. If it is just 2 people, having that dinette in the back is actually pretty cool. I love having a proper table and chairs here, something to play cards with, something that's like really comfortable. You know, we can flip this table around and then we can have 4 people up here at the front. You have a little bit more space, which is also very nice. So let's go ahead and do that. And boom. All right, so you can see I flipped our table around here and now the table is in its centered position. So when you flip this around, it gives you a little bit smaller place to get in and out of the table here, but it gives you a little bit more centered table. So if you have 4 people up here, 4 people can use this, even with this here in place. Or I've had 9 people in this dinette in my old van with the exact same setup here. So if you didn't have this upper bed in here and it was out, you can pack people in here and then play a game of cards, have lunch. We were having lunch at a ski hill, so everybody's just kind of hanging out, having a beer, having a snack, and getting ready for more action. So yeah, the dinette is a really cool thing. We have all of our utilities underneath us here. So we have an EcoFlow 5K kit here, and we'll take a peek at that. We have a 20-gallon water tank and some storage up here in the front. We'll take a look at that. But let's go ahead and set this thing up as a bed so you can see what the bed looks like. All right, this is our bed system in place, and let's take a look at this. So up here we have a custom sized mattress. So this is gonna be wider than a queen, but a little bit shorter than a queen. So we're 6'4" front to back, and we are 65 inches side to side. So it's a pretty wide bed here. So you got lots of room to get cozy next to people, anything like that. I'm 5'11", and I got plenty of room in here, room for a pillow, everything like that I would need. Nice and cozy, even underneath the cabinets over here, I'm pretty comfortable underneath this. So, I'm good in here, anywhere in this bed, nice and comfortable. Roll over to this side here, and you got a little bit more like sit up height and things like that in bed. So next to the bed, we have these pill windows, and we talked about these on the outside, but inside we have our cubby window frames. So the cubby window frames are super cool because I can take my phone here at night. I can pop that in there. If I got my sunnies, pop those in there. Everything is nice and close at hand. It's not falling away that I can't find it, but they're nice and tucked away, so I'm not gonna lose them in bed. We do have USB chargers on both sides of the bed here, so you can plug in a phone at night, get everything charged up for the next day, and we're ready to go. You can put your book in here. They also fit the window shades really nicely. It's another real nice thing here is that those window shades are always close at hand, ready to get set up in here. Cubby window frames, of course, you can order those on the website. They are just fit to the awning window the awning window from Premier or from Flare Space, or the 1033 slider from CR Lawrence. If you got a CR Lawrence awning window, they're not gonna fit. So just plan accordingly. So up here above the bed, we have our Velit 48 volt AC. This is the Velit 2000 air conditioner, 10,000 BTU unit when it's running on 48 volts, which is what we're running on today. And you can hear right now, I'm not shouting or anything and I'm talking to you. Really the only thing I'm hearing inside here is the whoosh of the fans and that amount of air blowing. So if I turn those fan speed down, really it's not gonna be super loud. This is a really nice AC unit. I think it's the best bang for the buck out there. Really happy with them, and it's perfect for a van, 148 high roof, 148 medium roof, something like this, when it's over the top of the bed. I think if you're trying to cool off the entire van in the middle of the day, not gonna happen. But if this is over the top of your bed, you can take a nap any time of day, anywhere you are. got that nice cold air blowing on you, and you're psyched. And it's pretty efficient on power. So it's a really great unit, fits nicely on the roof, really simple install. We love these things. All right, before we jump out of the front half of the van here, the last thing I want to mention is these nice big storage pockets here. So we just wanted to utilize some of that extra space in the walls. So we put these little storage pockets with some bungees in here. I think this is a really nice way to store some extra things. You could tuck some like blankets and sheets in here. You could put a backpack in here, laptop, whatever it is. I know I personally had like our diaper kit and storybooks for my kids in here, but it's lost space otherwise. So I think having a little bit of storage cup pocket like that is a cool custom way to make the van unique for you. And really it's built just like we build our window frames up front. So, you know, just the depth and a backer plate. We have a video for that. So you can go ahead and take a look at our channel and find the how-tos on those for your van. All right. Here at the back of the van, we have the last pieces of our kit here. So we have this little fill-in piece here that just makes up the rest of the bed panel for your bed when you transition into bed mode. Of course, this can be pulled out and stored like right behind the seat, up behind the fridge there. Nice safe place for it to live, but you do need something like this to make up that bed in there, just because we don't want a table that's super long. And we have that little pocket here just for the table leg, so this can store up front. You can just basically leave this here all the time and it's fine. But just in case you want to put it somewhere else, you know that that's part of the kit. Okay. We do have a rear door access hatch here because the rear third of this cabinet is storage in here. That's the EcoFlow battery up front. And then just a third of storage here at the back of the dinette. We want to be able to get to that through the back doors. So that makes it super easy. So back here, we have our rear shower and our water fill. So this aqua section here is how we would fill up our water system. And then this one here is their shower. So same hose we would connect to fill our water we can use for our shower. And then this is just a real simple mixing valve here on top. So really versatile solution for you. Just like normal hose bib with a mixing valve. Really nice, really clean install from Aqua. We like these a lot. Just keeps everything nice and tidy. Well, that's it for this medium roof 148 long body base camp tour. If you have questions about the build out, hit us up in the comments below and we'll take care of you there. If you learned something today, hit that like button and we'll see you on the next one.